When Master Dogen was 7 years old, his mother died. And at the funeral, or in the house, they had a memorial. And he wrote that his first awakening was watching the incense smoke rise up during the memorial service for his mother. And seeing the smoke rise and disappear. And it gave him a very strong impression of impermanence. Funnily enough, the Buddha also had that experience at the age of 7. I don't know what it is, 7. He was sitting under an apple tree, watching the farmers plow the field of one of the fields nearby. And it says that he entered a very deep meditative absorption spontaneously at the age of 7. And then when he looked out upon the field, he saw the plow turning up the soil and the worms being cut by the plow. And he realized that, there's so much suffering in the world, that things die so that he can live. And it aroused this sadness and compassion. As the poem here that I alluded to the other day, Autumn Evening, there's joy also in loneliness. So when we look at the suffering, and it can awaken compassion, that's the joy. The joy is that actually you can do something about it. It's not just that the world is terrible, but you can take that terrible and transform it into compassion. That's the joy, is that your practice can transform the obstacles into path. That's a deep joy, isn't it? You can look around at a lot of pain and you can say, wow, this is awakening my heart. There's a deep joy in loneliness. And that joy from the calm mind that can be aware of all the stuff going on. You have awareness, you have clarity that can observe the confusion. How would you even know you're confused if you didn't have some clarity that can observe the confusion? And that's a reason to rejoice. No matter what you experience, you can be aware of what you experience. There's something bigger than your mental experience. So I want to share a few of the questions that I received, because they're really useful. First one I received was, can you wear a jacket? Sometimes. They're not all like that. What should I focus on when doing metta meditation, love and kindness? Is it an emotion, a feeling, a thought, breathing? What should I focus on? It's a mantra, actually. It's a mantra. You just repeat the intention over and over again until you train your mind for it to naturally come up. You don't need to feel anything, right? In fact, you can practice compassion when you're feeling angry. You're compassionate for the person feeling so much anger. My gosh, what suffering there is. Sorry for that. It doesn't have to be, some sort of strong emotion. What would it be? What kind of emotion is metta anyway? Our ideas of love are generally romantic or familial, but Altruistic love, that's just an attitude that we cultivate, an approach to life, a phrase we repeat until it comes up spontaneously. You say it enough, the mantra arises on its own. You look around, you wish that others would be happy. In the midst of your impatience, may all these drivers be happy and get where they need to go safely and quickly. You just train your mind so that instead of always being, reacting with selfish thoughts, you train the mind. Believe me, it's years of practice of repeating the mantra over and over again. What am I practicing? You're just repeating these words until they become imprinted on your brain, like a spiritual tattoo. Yeah. As we say, make it second nature. Here's one. I'm a nature guide. Like I give guides in nature. And he's wondering, what do I do with all the garbage? If I decide to pick up all the garbage, then I won't be able to guide the people I'm with. But if I don't pick it up, then I'm ignoring it. What do I do? It's great, practical. Well, what's the middle way? The middle way, meaning when we talk about, and this is mentioned a few weeks ago, right action. One of the Eightfold Path is right action. Right, not versus wrong, but helpful versus harmful. And someone else said, I forget, it was Ajahn Sumedho translated it as appropriate action. Appropriate, you said that, right? Appropriate action. What's appropriate in this moment? Well, if I have a group, I'm not going to spend all my time filling the bag, but I'll fill some of it as an example. So what's the important, the appropriate action is my immediate responsibility, which is for these people. Okay? And in fact, I can teach them as well, by example. Right? What would be appropriate if I'm by myself? Well, maybe I'll pick up some more. Okay? What's appropriate? What's needed here? What is the best way to help? Okay? Like, how can I help the most here? What is needed most in this situation? What's needed in that situation is not that I pick up all the garbage, but that I take care of these people. That's what's needed. And then the needs change. So appropriate means according to each situation. It's called upaya, skillful means. What is needed now? Right? And being aware of that means the mind of metta. Okay? What is the service that's going to be a benefit in this situation? How can I make the world a happier place? Okay? How can I contribute? What will be my contribution to others' happiness in this moment? Okay? I'm one of those people as well. Don't forget. So, how can I be non-attached to my own children? And I've heard someone else asked about it in terms of relationship, like being in an intimate relationship. Well, a teacher once talked about love this way, that love asks how you can be happy, and attachment asks how you can make me happy. Okay? So if we think of it that way, real simple, it doesn't mean you don't have relationships, but the relationships are not from a place of, like, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to make me happy? How are you going to fill my hole? Okay? How are you going to fulfill me and all the lacks I'm feeling? Attachment is, I need you to fill this emptiness. And love is, how can I help you? You know? How can I help you? And then you can be committed, right? But committed in a loving relationship. Like, this relationship is really unique, and I'm personally responsible more than anyone else for this person, who happens to be my child, right? But I'm responsible, what? Out of love, to help them be happy. Not for them to make me happy. If I'm happy from that relationship, it's a side effect. A great one. But if that's my reason, that's attachment. So again, what is your intention in the relationship? So much of karma is about intention. In fact, all of it is. So, examine your intention, and then if it's attachment or love, that has to do, the same action can be motivated by a totally different intention. You're working on your mind.
A question about what you said. So if you know that right now in this place you are not complete, and there is desire for relationship because you know you need this to complete what you don't feel good with, so then you shouldn't get in a relationship, or you can get in the spite of it and work with it.
Yeah, well, we're not. Very few of us are enlightened yet. So we're still going to be dealing for most of our lives with a sense of lack. Right? And that's what dukkha is, a sense of lack. So yeah, most of us for this lifetime are going to be working with our dukkha, with our sense of something's missing. Now, does that become the dominant theme of the relationship? Or does it become something, that I'm aware of, and I'm aware of, and I'm aware of, and I'm going to commit to being as aware of it as possible? So yeah, you commit to a practice, and you live your life. So if you wait until you're enlightened, which means having no attachments, being totally free, might take a while. Maybe not for you, but for me. So work with what you've got. Yeah. Don't wait. Non-attachment is to our own grasping. That's what non-attachment is. To our own sense of self. It's non-attachment to the ego, to the self, to me. It's not that I'm not attached to you. I'm not attached to my, my issues. Someone asked about mindfulness. Much of the time I don't feel mindful. And sometimes when I feel mindful, like everything is full of light and wonderful. And how can I be more mindful like that? So it's just the haiku that came to me was, New Year's Day, everything is in blossom. I feel about average. Now, that's mindful. Okay, that's mindful. Mindful, most of the time, is feeling average. Or below average. Yeah, there's no mystery to mindfulness. It's just mindful of things being kind of dull right now, or whatever it is. Mindful is, Suzuki Roshi said, nothing special. It's nothing special. Okay? Because if you make it into something special, then it becomes rare. And if it's rare, then it happens not only on retreat, but day 2 in the 3rd hour, and that's about it. So yeah, I talk about the practice. I've used the metaphor often of brushing your teeth. Not that you're brushing your teeth to feel mindful, like, ooh, I feel the bristles on my teeth. No. But basically, it's an ordinary activity. But if you don't do it, after a while, you'll start to feel the effects. It's unpleasant. And then it'll cause harm. Okay? It'll cause harm. But if you do it, then it just keeps your health. Your, inner health. Okay? It keeps you a bit clean. A lot of the metaphors used in the old teachings are about dusting, taking the dust off the mirror, things like that. Okay? But sometimes what the mirror is reflecting is not light and beauty, but it's fog. Okay? Or it's just shadows. Or it's not even anything clear. It reflects unclarity. So maybe that's what you are mindful of right now. So be it. Someone asked about work, and someone else asked about it in terms of art. You do a good job at work, and you get praised by the manager, or you get an award for being the worker of the month, and you feel great. And then you hear some criticism. And it's, you want to quit. Or someone in the same idea is doing art and people walk by, nice. I feel great, I feel proud, But then I don't want to show anyone because I know that if they see it and they say that, I'll feel proud, so I don't want to do that either. But if they don't say anything, then was it not as good as the last one? So, what do I do about that? It's called the 8 worldly concerns, recognized by the Buddha. We are still dealing with them. Praise and blame. Attached to praise, hate criticism. You go through a day and you receive 2 compliments and 2 criticisms. Which will you remember? Okay? That's just mental. No, I mean, it really is. And there's attachment to physical pleasure and comfort, and aversion to physical discomfort. There's attachment to possessions, and there is aversion to losing your possessions. Okay. There's attachment to having good reputation, and there's aversion to having bad reputation. Those are the 8 worldly concerns. That's just the way the mind plays its tricks. Just see it as mental gymnastics. That's all it is. Okay? It's been well documented. We still, suffer from them. And it just is dealing with gain and loss, gain and loss, gain and loss. And the gaining mind that always wants to gain. Sense of self from the outside. That's what it's all about. Whether it's things, whether it's reputation, whether it's compliments, okay, or pleasure. It's just building up who you think you are. Your sense of self is dependent on the outside. But if it's not, and that's what we try to cultivate, is to awaken to a sense of self, if I need to say it that way, to an awareness that is not dependent on external factors. As the Buddha called it, the unconditioned, is not conditioned by the yo-yo up and down of changing circumstances. Because if you are dependent on that, one day up, one day down, and it's endless roller coaster. Get off. Or stay on and just know that's going to happen. That's just the way it's going to be. Up and down. So ground your sense of self in something else. And that's what our meditation is for. Okay? To awaken to an awareness of being here that is not contingent upon external factors. Sit. Someone asked, is every path equal? Or are some better than others? Well, the 8 worldly concerns are not better. But is every path equal? And of course it means like every spiritual path or every path for, developing yourself. Some people ask me about Theravada, Mahayana. Let's split them as finely as we can. You know that thing about, the old joke about the Jewish guy who lives on an island with 2 synagogues, Beit Knesset. He's alone. So someone rescues him and says, where are these? Oh, that's the one I go to and that's the one I don't go to. Happens in Buddhism. Happens in Buddhism. So, if it's done it's all about intention. If you bring metta and love, kindness and compassion into your path, it's probably be better than any path without that. So, so related to that, someone asked simply, what should I do? How do I practice? What should my practice be? What do I do? How do I practice? Well, trust, commit, and, act. Trust your mind, commit to a way, a practice, act, and then do it. That's what you should do. And more practically, since we're, we have a nice schedule for us, and at the beginning of the retreat I said, let the schedule be your teacher. Well, if you want, I can send you a schedule on email after the retreat, and you can follow it. But you probably don't want that. But just as, as a friendly recommendation, you should do some spiritual activity every day, sitting or otherwise. You should even do it twice a day. Or, and stop frequently. Stop frequently throughout your day. Stop. Breathe, observe, proceed. Okay? Stop what you're doing, take a few breaths, observe where your mind is, and then continue what you were doing. Do that frequently. Lose count how many times you do that. If you feel like you need to, then it's already late. Take moments, take activities that you normally see as just sort of from A to B, and include them in your practice. If you're walking down the street, instead of listening to your earphones, why don't you just listen to your environment? Okay? If you have a few moments with your tea or coffee, instead of having to read the newspaper, why don't you just look at the mist? Okay? And taste the taste. If you're with a friend or by yourself and you're having a meal, why don't you take that time in silence and enjoy the company and the food? There are many opportunities to bring a contemplative life into your active life. Don't make it either or. Combine. You will find, the more you look, the more you'll find in terms of possibilities. Beginner's mind, many possibilities out there. How do I share the practice with my father? Don't ask Dan. Don't ask Dan. How do I share it with my son? More difficult question. I answered that like kind of in the same way that as parents know that when you tell your kids something that you like and you want them to do it, it's a good way to get them to like run away. Then it works in the other direction too. Telling your parents, this is so great. You know. Yeah. But as with everything, okay, what you want to share is not your words, you want to share your example. If you're doing something, if you're involved in a practice and it benefits you, then others naturally will see that benefit and they might ask, oh, it looks like you're better these days, you're doing better. What's helping? What's working with you? You know, I see a change, I see a difference. Let them ask. Offer your example. Someone asked why the food is not vegan. I don't know. I think because we didn't write. I think because we wrote vegetarian, not vegan. But the question behind that is like that it should be vegan because milk products are causing harm to animals, and if we're practicing compassion and we want to reduce harm, then we shouldn't eat milk products, which is probably true. So next time we'll write vegan. Why is our mind vast, open, and bright naturally, and what happened on the way? Well, the Buddha looked back, if you remember last night I said he looked back at the endless lifetimes and understood the karmic, progression of infinite rebirths. I guess that's what happened. So much reinforcement of negative or deceptive or limiting thought that it became confused and obscured with natural mind. And lack of exposure to, teachings and teachers and examples and community. And in Buddha Dharma, the question is much less why, but more what is happening and what do I do about it now? Okay, so that's the question. The great faith in at least Zen and Mahayana and in Buddhism, the great faith and the trust is in, yes, the nature of your enlightened mind. The great doubt is in everything telling you otherwise. Like the world saying, do this and you'll be happy. We doubt that. Okay, we doubt the messages. We doubt everything we've been told. There's a vast doubt, and it's called great. It's called great doubt because it really is, doubting everything. But it's balanced with the faith, so it doesn't erase everything. Right? The doubt is that question. What is real? Who am I? Is this true? Does this help or does it hurt? Let me look at this teaching. You doubt the teachings, not in order to reject them, but in order to truly live them and engage. If you don't doubt, you won't actually be practicing it. But if there's only doubt, okay, what are you going to open to? What is going to actually awaken that? And the determination is also necessary. The great determination is, yes, I will proceed now. I will continue. I will continue with the faith and with the doubt. And with the confusion and with everything. Is the mind vast and open? Well, teachings say so. Check it out for yourself. Don't take my word or the Buddha's word for it. You check it out. Okay, what is the nature of your mind? That's the doubt. The doubt is question. Question. If you're not questioning, you're not alive. Right? Having an answer is dead. It means you've stopped. So keep asking the questions. Don't satisfy yourself with any answer. The great doubt leads you to the path. One other question that came up was how can we be here and now and present and want to do things? Have ambition, aspirations, goals, and plans, and be present. The present includes the past and the future. Okay, the present includes all things. The mind includes all things. Right? Your present mind, what you can be with, what your here and now may be, is thinking about the future. That just may be your present mind. But the real question is, when we talk about ambition, wanting to do things in life, and is that a conflict with just being here? It comes back to the basic teaching that I've been repeating over and over again, is what is your intention? Right? What is your intention? Being present means that you are fully acknowledging with no denial your experience right now, so that you then can know what to do with it. But if you're not fully present, how do you know what you're working with even? The present is your starting point. It gives you the materials with which to work. It also allows you to examine your intentions. So you can know, am I being here because it's comfortable for me? For me? Okay. Or I'm observing and really being aware. So then I can clear the space. It's what I said about with attachment, non-attachment, love. If you're present and aware, and you see that your motivations are in order to serve and to help and to increase happiness and reduce suffering, you proceed. That is a good ambition. Then you proceed into thought, speech, and action. But it all comes out of intention. And being here and now allows us to clarify our intentions by sitting and letting self pass, so that you have space for other. If your mind is full of yourself, your intentions will be confused. If you let self settle and you open the space to realize world, you'll have lots of room to cultivate compassion, kindness, and then make the right decision out of those values. So yeah, go for it. Work hard. Is it for your success or others' happiness? And the truth is, they're not separate. They're not separate. But if you can realize a unity, then proceed. We have a lot to do here, because there's a lot of suffering and a lot of happiness is needed. Clear yourself out of the picture a little and work as hard as you can. The last last haiku I'd like to offer us well, actually two haikus. Coming back, which is what we'll be doing soon. Coming back. So many pathways through the spring grass. Let's put on. Coming back. So many pathways through the spring grass. You know, each of you have your own path. Right? Be true to it. And give as much as you can. I go, you stay. 2 autumns. We think there's one autumn, there's not. Right now, there's many autumns. Many autumns. Okay, it's the one you live. And together they combine. So live your autumn fully. Live your path fully. Live your life fully. Develop your compassion, your kindness, and your clarity. And you'll do the right thing. I'm sure of it.